What is up, everybody? Keith Mitchell here, and by now, I'm hoping you all are enjoying yourself, playing some games, getting into the holiday spirit, enjoying yourself, and basically, yeah, having fun. But I gotta be honest with you right now, I'm not in a happy place, and I should be, but I'm not. And mainly because I'm watching a lot of my peers and people I know in the gaming journalist space being harassed or being, yeah, harassed is a better word, about, and I hate to talk about this subject more, but again, it is, and that is CD Projekt Red Cyberpunk 2077. I noticed a thread that people were commenting on. I'm not going to tell you where, I'm not going to tell you why, and I'm not going to give you any specific information regarding this. So I don't want you tracking it down because honestly, it's a waste of your time. And if you do know about it, great. But if you don't, I'll just save you some time. And what's happening here is this game has not only shown people or related people to say, hey, gaming journalists are garbage, they don't know what they're talking about, they're liars, we shouldn't trust them, where that's not the case, because any given time, a game reviewer or a gaming journalist is being held to a set of standards and also being held to agreements that they can't do anything about. So as you can imagine, that puts them in a very weird, a very specific situation. So I want to talk about that today. I want to talk about what they're placed in, how they're looked at, and why people from the outside still think they can throw stones at them without looking at their own glass house. So what I'm getting at right now are NDAs. I'm pretty sure most of you know what an NDA is, a non-disclosure agreement. Basically, anytime a person accepts a product, movie tickets, access to a streaming video, a game, a piece of hardware, whatever. Whenever somebody accepts a product, they are asked, most times, they're asked to adhere to an NDA. Now, this NDA will basically have a set of guidelines, rules, things that must be followed, things they can say, things they can't say. And to be 100% honest, some of these NDAs are garbage because they hide a lot of things that people really want to talk about. So in this instance of Cyberpunk 2077, there was an NDA that basically stated, hey, you can't show any in-game footage. Now, the problem with that is there's a lot of people, or some people, that don't understand the situation completely and have been running their mouths. I am being 100% brutal here, guys. I'm not here to candy coat. Again, as I told you before, when I do these videos, I bring the truth. I tell you nothing but the truth, or what the truth that I understand. I'm not here to candy coat, to tell fake news, to tell lies. I really don't care. It is my job to talk about things, or my passion to talk about things that should be brought to light. All right, getting back on track. So this NDA has been a subject of a lot of conversations because, again, you can only show footage that they gave you. CD Projekt Red gave you B-roll and said, hey, use this B-roll. Now, I gotta be honest, when myself and another person at Outerhaven got this NDA, we looked at it and we went, wow, this is really bad. We literally cannot show you any in-game footage of this game that we're playing, and it did not sit right with us, and to the point where we had already considered delaying our review before any of this nonsense came to light because we wanted to show you in-game footage. So we were already saying, hey, we're going to delay our review. Now, to be fair to the other reviewers and gaming journalists and influencers, everybody was given access to the PC version of the game ahead of the release. There was nobody out there who was given access to the PlayStation 4 version or the Xbox One version. So to be 100% fair, there was no footage out there that we could have shown you regarding the consoles because we simply didn't have access to those platforms. We didn't get access to a PlayStation 4 version until after the release date, which meant we were no longer held to the NDA and we could show you any footage that we wanted to. Just like anybody else could have uploaded to YouTube or Twitch, and people did. And there's where the stuff hit the fan. So I don't find it fair. I don't think it's fair. I don't like that people are blasting gaming journalists and gaming personalities saying that they could have showed us footage of the PlayStation, Xbox One versions when they didn't have access to that footage in the first place. Nobody had access to those versions of the game. Okay, so there's the first one. In regards to NDA, again, I did specify that there are some NDAs that I've seen across the years that I didn't think were fair. There have been plenty of them that did the same thing that CD Projekt Red did, that says you can only show B-roll, you can't show specific pictures, you can't use any of your footage, anything that you've captured, you cannot use in this review. Use this, and go about your way. And I'll be honest, there have been some reviews, some games that were sent to us that had NDAs, and I simply went, all right, well, thanks. We aren't accepting it NDA. And that right there is key. It's not about somebody not having principles or somebody not having integrity. That is completely wrong and needs to be tossed out the window. Because if there's anybody in this gaming space that doesn't have any integrity or any kind of principles, then they don't belong here, just like they don't belong in any kind of industry. You have to take some responsibility and have integrity for what you do. Granted, I'm going to say there may be situations where that's not always the case, such as working for a major gaming journalist platform where doing reviews and covering games is your bread and butter, and you don't have a choice. The ability to accept the NDA, the decision to accept an NDA may not be within your capacity. Your boss or your boss's boss may have already said, hey, we're going to cover this, and that's it. You're left on the hook. You have to do it. So again, there are always situations where one thing does not apply, but we're going to talk about the things that do apply. So daily operations for us, and I can only speak on us, I can't speak for other outlets, is we request access to a game. We talk to either to a PR company or to the publisher, and we say, hey, we're interested in covering this game, this product, this movie, and what do we need to do to make it happen? And if they're interested in working with us, to come back with us and say, okay, great, we have an NDA, read the NDA, agree to the NDA, and then we'll send over the product. Now, we read over the NDAs, and if there's something in there that we don't like, we simply ask a question. Hey, is this ironclad? Can we get around this? Is there something we can do about this? And if they tell us, no, it's what it is, we either have the decision to say, hey, okay, great, we will adhere to it. We don't like it, but we will. Or, no, we don't want it, take it back. Again, there have been plenty of times where we've said we don't want to take this copy of the game. And we're in a situation here where we can do that. We're not a big company. We're not an IGN. We're not a game spot. We're not a Polygon. I mean, Lord knows we would love to be in that kind of position. Well, not the NDA position, but being popular, being that big, where we could do that. Where we could say, hey, you know what? We're big. We're the big dogs. But we're not in that kind of situation, which also works out for us because we're 100% independent. There is no sponsors or some major conglomerate behind us telling us that we have to do this. If we decide we don't want to do it, we don't do it. Okay, there's always downsides. There's always downsides to this. So as you'd imagine, it's basically, hey, whoever has the latest and greatest, the new hotness gets all the attention, the exposure. And I hate to use this word, but the clout. That is correct. If somebody comes out with a review or a coverage of a game first, obviously everybody flocks to it, and you get the good and the bad. You get the people saying, great review, thanks for telling me about it, fantastic. You get the people saying, well, this is a crap review, why'd you write about it, you're a terrible writer, XYZ. Fine, whatever, you still got those people coming to your site, coming to your outlet, coming to your YouTube video. And that's how it is, guys and gals. Everybody, that is the business right now. I'm not saying it's a good thing, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, it's just that's how business is conducted. So obviously, people will accept NDAs maybe if it violates their principles, or maybe again they have no control over that decision. But NDAs exist for obvious reasons, and 9 times out of 10 they exist to protect the company. So are NDAs bad? Well, it depends on the situation and how they're used. If they're used to stop people from being honest about a product, then yeah, they're definitely bad. But if they're used to protect an item, a product, it could be the best product on the face of the planet, but they don't want news or word getting out about it until an embargo date, then no, it's not a bad thing. It depends on the situation. But the problem that I'm having, at least in this instance of Cyberpunk 2077, is people are being labeled as sellouts for accepting the NDA, where the reality is they didn't have an option but to accept the NDA. Again, either they made that decision or the company they work for made the decision. There have been many people in the gaming space who I've talked to who have said, you know what, I'm not reviewing this game. Some even after accepting an NDA and simply saying, you know what, we're either going to delay our review or we're going to pass completely. Even for us, we already told our PR people, look, we're not reviewing this game. You gave us copies of the game and we're grateful for that. We want to keep working with you, but given the state of this game right now, It simply isn't in our best interest. We don't think we'll be able to provide a fair review for our consumers in the state this game is in right now. Because to be honest with you, I will review this game and go, avoid this game. As much as I say this game has good bones, it has good storytelling elements, the total package is not there. It needs to bake in the oven for a little bit longer. And I'm willing to give CD Projekt Red a little bit more time to put this game, to get this game to the vision they wanted to originally. As much as it pains me to do that, because I always believe that your item should be reviewed given the state you present it with. Had they came out and been honest with us and said, hey, this game needs some more time, I would have went, all right, well, great. Don't give it to me until it's done. But they came out and went, oh, hey, this game is great. Runs fine on Xbox, PlayStation 4. No, it doesn't. It runs like crap. It runs like complete total crap, and you lied to everybody. So in that retrospect, we should review the game and go, it's garbage. But that's not fair to you. I don't care about CD Projekt Red. I don't care about them. They lied to me. Any good faith they had, any goodwill, any trust that I've had with the company is gone. I was willing to give them the benefit of the doubt that you put out a game, it needed some fixes, but it's just one thing after another after another. More recently now, we have the issue where if you craft too many things, you pick up too many items, your game save gets corrupt. And CD Projekt Red comes out and tells people, just stop picking up stuff, stop crafting stuff. The game is about picking up stuff and crafting stuff. And you want us to stop doing that? I am done. Done. It has gotten to the point where I don't think I even want to review this game, or if I want anybody on my staff to review this game. That's how bad it's gotten. It might hurt us with our PR companies. It might hurt our standing, but that is us being honest. And again, not everybody has that ability to do that. But just because they don't doesn't mean they're sellouts. That's not fair to label people as sellouts because they have to adhere to an NDA. An NDA is a binding contract. If we don't adhere to the NDA after accepting it, and then later on going back and saying, you know what, we're done, we don't want to work with this anymore, you open yourself up to a legal issue. An NDA only ends one of two ways. You adhere to it, or they take you to court. And depending on how big that company is, and CD Projekt Red is a big company, they could sue you for everything that you have. I mean, obviously, I would hope that they wouldn't do that, but they totally can do that. But you know what else happens if you violate NDA? You become blacklisted. You get blacklisted by everybody in the gaming space. If CD Projekt Red blacklists you and another company gets wind of that, because it's as big as the gaming industry is, when it comes to PR companies and publishers, there's only a set amount of people out there. There's not a lot of publishers out there. There are a lot of developers out there under a certain publication or publisher roof, and there's not a lot of PR companies out there in the gaming industry space. And the ones that are out there, they talk to each other. Don't get that twisted. Every major publication that I know, every major PR company that I know has told me that they do talk to other PR companies or other publishers. So even though the gaming space is huge, if you get blacklisted, somebody else will know that you got blacklisted. And the problem with being blacklisted is they can simply say you got blacklisted for being a troublemaker, for being a bad guy, for not following the rules. And if you get blacklisted for not following an NDA, forget about it. That means every other PR company who gets wind of this may go, nah, we don't want to work with you, pass. Which means publishers might go, yeah, we don't want to deal with you. You're a bad fit, and pass. Being blacklisted in this gaming journalist scene is not a good call. Even if you're a brand new person, if you've been in the game for a long time, blacklisting is a bad thing. People don't want that happening. I mean, there's been so many people who has gotten blacklisted over the years and has fought tooth and nail to get back in the good graces of companies. So you don't want to violate an NDA because you don't want to become blacklisted. You know, I'll be honest with you here. If we get blacklisted for sticking to our guns, then it's worth it. It'll hurt us, but it won't hurt us as much as it'll hurt like an IGN again or a GameSpot or a Kotaku. That is their bread and butter. They thrive on that stuff. We're a small, independent gaming geek culture website. I mean, we might find other ways around it, and we're not averse to just waiting for a game to come out and buying a game or buying a product and reviewing it. We've been doing it for years. We still do it. We don't get everything we request. We're lucky if we request 20 things in a year, we're lucky if we get half of those. So buying things out of our own pocket is not a problem, which is why we have ads on our website and why we're pushing our YouTube so much, so we can make money, so we can get stuff for our writers. We do not care, but we won't violate an NDA. I mean, we get blacklisted for being honest and sticking to our guns, and it happens, but we're not going to violate an NDA. But, you know, full circle, I've been ranting a lot, and I do apologize. It's basically, I don't like seeing people in the gaming journalist space treating other people like crap, calling them sellouts, calling them other names, because at the end of the day, they're doing their job. Maybe you don't like their reviews. Maybe you don't agree with their reviews. There are a lot of reviews out there that I don't agree with. There are a lot of previews or practices that I don't agree with, but I'm not going to go on Twitter or make an article and blast them. I'm gonna contact them via email, or I will actually contact them via Twitter, but DM them and go, hey, no, why do you feel XYZ? Why did you say this? Is this actually how you feel? And we'll have a conversation. And I'll be honest, not everybody is willing to talk about that. Some people in the gaming space, they only stick to their particular circle. That's another problem in the gaming space that I'm not a fan of, that I've talked about before on a couple of our podcasts. That's a subject for another time, and I don't want to get into it right now. I just want to get into I want to get into the subject of NDAs and why they need to be adhered to and why they need to be followed, and why sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad, why not everybody enjoys them, but unfortunately they are a necessary in the gaming space. Not just gaming space, any space where a company provides you with a product for review or preview purposes. Notice I didn't say free, because if a company makes you sign an NDA regarding a product, it's not free, because they're going to want you to talk about that. So think about that. Think about how people treat other people in the gaming journalist space. And if you're one of those people who like to badmouth people, think about what you say before you say it, and think about why you're saying it. Or maybe reach out to the person who said something that you don't agree with and ask them why they said that. You might be surprised on what they say. Again, not everybody has a choice. Not everybody has the ability to decide for themselves. NDAs are a big thing in the gaming journalist space, and not everybody has the ability to say no. Not unless it comes from the high dog up top that says, you know what, this is a bad call, we're not going to deal with this. They may not have a choice. They could simply say, hey, I'm not reviewing this game, assign it to somebody else, and they lose money, they lose a paycheck, or it could be worse, they could lose their job. And we've all seen what's happening in the gaming space right now. There's been a lot of outlets closing down. There will be more coming because of COVID-19. I think we need to look at the entire picture before we start calling people names and calling people out. That's just how I feel. I'm sorry for this rant, for this long rant. It's just something that has been nagging at me for a long time. I am, you could even say I'm not really a gaming journalist. You could say that because I didn't come up, I don't work again at a big publication. Well, I mean, I kind of do now because I write for Tom's Hardware. But outside of that, you know, I started my own outlet, the Outerhaven, because I was one of those people looking from the outside in who always want to talk about games, even when I was a little child. You know, EGM and Computer Gaming, was it Monthly and PC Gamer? Those magazines were things I read all the time when I was a child, and I always wanted to get involved with that. I didn't go to school for journalists. I went to school for IT. I went to 2 different colleges and dropped out because I was smarter than my professors, and I didn't like the fact that my professors were telling me something that I already knew. So here I am now. I work in IT. I've been in IT for 25 plus years. IT is what I do. Gaming journalism is something I do as a passion product, as a hobby, something I love to do. But I will still follow the standards and adhere to the guidelines that gaming journalists are supposed to do. As long as I'm playing this game, I'm going to follow the rules. And I think everybody else should do the same. But at the same time, we got to be respectful for other people's opinions. Reviews are subjective. They're opinions. If you don't like it, that's fine. If somebody does something that you don't like, then that's fine. Call them out about it, but talk to them about it. Don't just go blast them and call them names and being completely rude and disrespectful, because that crap is wrong. All that tells me is that you're looking to get clout and you're willing to do whatever you want to do to get it. And that is wrong. All right, I'm done. I'm shutting up. As always, if you like the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I know this one was very long-winded, but it's just some stuff I had to get off my chest, and I do apologize. If I offended you, let me know. The job is not to offend. The job is to tell the truth and be honest about certain things. All right. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when upcoming videos are coming out. Wow, I'm completely rattled. I'm glad I got that off my chest. And again, if I do offend you about talking about this, hit me up via email. Hit me up on Twitter. I would love to talk to you about that. I'm not going to call you names unless you call me a name first. But then again, I just might stop talking to you completely. Again, this is the holiday, folks. Please enjoy it. Enjoy it for friends. Enjoy it for family. I know some of you, most of you, all of us can't be around our family, so do what you can to enjoy yourself. Play some games. Play board games. Play video games. Talk on the phone. Watch some movies. Cook some food together. Do something. Be respectful. Just be merry. Please try and be merry, especially in this state of the war right now. Please try and be merry. And you know what? I always tell you do something else at the end of these videos, but you know what? I think right now, as I've been looking at things and talking to people, if you have the capacity to donate to a charity of your choice, money, clothes, food, do it. There's a lot of people out there right now who could really use your help, and we're watching our Congress fight right now regarding providing relief for people who are affected by COVID-19, and our Congress still can't get their stuff together. We're watching other parts of our world who are able to help those in need, but our own country, North America, which many people still consider to be the most powerful country in the world, we're not. We're still fighting over it. This is ridiculous. So if you can help somebody in need, please do so. All right, thanks for watching, folks, and we will see you next time.
This is the love making. This is the love making.